Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to the week after Masters Week. This is the Preferred Lines podcast. My name is Joe Idoni. You can find me on Twitter at TourPicks. If you're just checking this out, you've stumbled upon a golf gambling podcast. We are going to go over the odds boards for this week's RBC Heritage PGA Tour Tournament. I'm going to do a little course preview. I've got a special guest with me tonight who I'll bring on in a moment. We're going to kind of put a bow on the Masters, run through the odds boards. I'll give a little best bet at the end. If anyone has any questions, we'll do a quick Q&A segment. I'll do final thoughts. We'll get out of here. We'll keep it moving. We'll try to hit a winner this week. If you are here right now, do me a big solid favor. Go over to the Preferred Lines YouTube page. Just give that a thumbs up. Maybe write me a nice comment. Hit a like button. Then you can pop back over here. Drop a question in the chat that I will answer later in the show. I know sometimes the easiest way to watch this is on Twitter, but the biggest possible way you can help me out is to go over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, give a thumbs up. Would greatly appreciate that. Okay, here's what's on tap for tonight, guys. I've got a Due South Category 3 IPA, fully cracked. I'm going to do a course preview first before I talk about Masters. I just kind of want to get this out of the way relatively quickly. Then I'm going to bring in my special guest for tonight, my good buddy, Boston Capper from the Golf Gambling Podcast. He's awesome. I had a ton of fun talking with him and Steve when I went on their show about a month ago. So happy to sort of bring him on and bring a little life into this thing. He's got good energy. I like this guy. All right. So course preview for tonight. This segment is actually going to be brought to you by Fantasy Points. So they launched into golf Masters Week. They had a huge launch. They've got a bunch of guys that you are extremely familiar with over there doing content for them. Dom, Pat Jange, Huntman did a show today. They've just got a great crew over there. Chris Murphy, I know from the used to be at the Action Network, is now over there. Jers, our guy. So good crew over there. Use the promo code LINES22, and that will get you 10% off a monthly sub, which is one of the most affordable in the industry. Great team. Support them. Lines22 is the promo code. Okay. Course name, Harbortown Golf Links. Familiar stop, RBC Heritage, par 71, 100 yards short. Only 3 par 5s on the layout this week. Classic, quintessential Pete Dye design. Bermuda grass greens, historic cut line, 2 over par. Last 5 winners, Sink, Webb, Pan, Kadira, Bryant. Holy fucking long shots. Course notes, obviously short, technical layout, narrowed landing areas and strategic dog legs that I have in my notes from last year turn a lot of these par 4s into par 3s. Now hang with me for a second. I want to explain what I mean by that. So the distance advantage and the separation that a lot of players have on the PGA Tour, if you think about a par 4, for guys that hit it 325, they're playing a different hole on their second shot than the guys who hit it 275. It's like one group playing from the black tees and one group playing from like the old man white tees. It's clearly an advantage to be at the white tees. These, basically the par 4s have these landing areas that everyone seems to collect to within like a 20-yard range. So as long as you're in the fairway, everyone's hitting their approach shot into the green from virtually the same spot. Thus why I say they're like, I kind of treat them like par 3s. Everyone's usually coming in from the same distance unless you try to get super aggressive. So you're going to see a lot of similar range approach shots. Smallish greens, not overly difficult from a sort of chipping or a putting angle. Lower than average green and regulation rates, likely due to the smallest green. So lean a little bit more around the green in terms of a stat that I'm looking for. Distance, not really a factor. You want good drivers of the ball. So distance plus accuracy. I'm going to look a lot at good drives gained, which essentially what that is a stat where it basically factors in your second shot. So even if you miss the fairway, if you factor in good drives, that incoming approach shot, if you can still get that on the green, it's still considered a good drive. So if you're 3 yards off the fairway and you actually have a better angle in it, you can still get it on the green. That's still a plus for you in the good drives category. Obviously lean a little course history. The Pete Dye angle sort of always plays. The match play course, Pete Dye, Pebble is another good comp. Waialae, Sedgefield, Sea Island. These are the type of courses I'm looking for. Opportunities gain, proximity, 100 to 200, 150 to 200 yards. That's the bucket I'm looking for this week. My buddy Rick Run Good had a stat, I believe, where 175 to 200-yard approach shots this week are about double as many as you will typically see as a tour average. So a lot coming within that proximity. I usually don't weight it a whole lot, but going to this week for the reasons stated above. Even if you miss the fairway, you hit the green on your second shot, you're in good shape. Just don't miss it too far off. That's about it. Tidy around the green game, decent putter. That is Harbor Town. A lot of guys really like it here, play well consistently. Rewards of some long shots. Wes Bryan, Stu Sink was 100-1. I mean, there's been some big numbers here. There's been a good fair share of favorites as well. Okay. That's the course this week. Let's talk a little bit about last week. I want to bring on a special guest now who's going to join me for the next probably 20, 25 minutes here, talking Masters and what's going on this week on the odds board. Welcome to Preferred Lines, my man, Boston Capper. What up, dude?
What's up, buddy? How are you, man? It's a good little
Wonderful.
Concise preview. I love it. I really
Yeah.
do. I like that. You don't have to dig into the weeds. Like
Well, some guy, there's so many other guys that are better than me. I kind of know my strikes here, so I know you're going to check out Andy and check out Todd, all these guys who are really good at it.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to give the Cliff Notes version, which is how I actually got through college.
That's how I was about to say. That's how I got through school. Was the Cliff Notes. It wasn't actually deep diving. So,
borderline leaning off other people and then plagiarizing.
Yeah. I mean, listen, there's no such thing as an original idea, man. So it's not plagiarizing. It's fine. Oh, speaking of original idea, congratulations on last week, man. The major report was fucking awesome. Love that.
Thank you. I don't know if it played out on screen, but I was highly stressed out, my dude.
Nah, you look.
I didn't even tell anyone. I should have mentioned this on the show. Only Andy knows about this. So I was freaking out all day. I basically told my wife to take the kids out of the house because I needed time to prepare. I was nervous, right? I don't like hosting that much. I was used to like my old role in this show where I'm just kind of playing. It's easier to answer questions when I do the show with Rick. I'm more comfortable that way.
Yeah.
So a half an hour before the show, my internet in the whole house goes out.
Oh, no.
I'm like, what's going on? I reset the box. Nothing, right? Nothing comes on. I've got my TVs are out. My internet's down. I'm like, how am I going to do this show? I go outside. And I don't know what made me think to go outside, but I go outside and like 6 houses down, I see an AT&T guy. He's at my neighbor's house.
Right.
So I run down there. My neighbor's in the front yard. I'm like, do you have an AT&T guy here? She's like, yeah, he's in the backyard. I didn't even ask her. I straight up ran into her backyard.
Nice.
And I'm like, hey, man, listen, I got a big thing happening in like 25 minutes. I need you to, I think you may have knocked out my internet. It's like, no way. I'm doing an install here. Yeah. No way I knocked out your internet. I'm like, I think you knocked it out. I need you to check the box for me. He's like, all right, when I get done here, I'll come over and check it out. I'm like, I need it now, buddy. You don't understand.
Right.
So he's like, okay. He goes over to the box and he's like, you know what? You're right. I when I put in her wire into the box, I accidentally damaged yours.
Oh.
So I'm like, you got to be kidding me. What can you do? He's like, I got to get you a new line.
No.
So he's wiring. This is 20 minutes before the show goes live. He's wiring me up. I literally got internet back 90 seconds before that show started.
Holy shit.
And so I was supposed to meet Andy like backstage here 15 minutes before. He's like, has no idea where I'm at. He's like kind of panicking. And I show up like 90 seconds before we go hot in a full sweat. I'm like white in the face. He's like, dude, what the hell happened to you? You look so stressed. I'm like, I am, dude. I'll tell you about it later. I'm going to kick this live. Let's go.
We gotta go. Open the curtain. Let's go. Show must go on.
That's so fucking awesome. It, man.
Dude, that's fucking awesome.
If you rewind back to the beginning of the show, you'll see me in quite a sweat. But yeah, it was thank you for the kind words on that. Thank you for anyone that checked it out. Most downloads and listens I've ever got on a podcast, probably because I got the Andy Lack bump, to be honest. But we had a ton of fun with it, had a ton of great guests. So hopefully we can do it again next major.
Yeah, it was good shit.
What do you think about the Masters? Give me just thoughts right off the top.
So it was boring, right? For the most part. I mean, we knew what was going to happen. And look, I like Scotty Scheffler. Seems like a very nice guy. And I tweeted out earlier today that I was going to lose my mind listening to the Boston Sports Radio guys break it down the Masters.
What did you mean by that?
These morons were like trashing Scotty for 3 putting 18 and Cam Smith crapping down his leg on 12. There's no golfers like Nicholas and all this other stuff. And all these guys, they don't care about winning. All they care about is their sponsor money. And they don't know anything about golf. They never talk about golf ever. There's one guy on that station in the afternoon who actually knows golf. And he was fine. He said the same thing. Like, look, it's kind of boring. And look, Scotty's on a ridiculous tear, right? Like ridiculous. Like, what else can you say? He's clearly the world's number one. He went out and curb stomped. Any thoughts of that he's not the world number one? The problem is that our sport, when I hear guys like that on the sports radio, like, we need somebody who's not as milk toasty as Scotty Scheffler to be the face of our sport. Like, we need something better than that. Like, he's wholesome, he's good. You can't root against him, but at the same point, he's not putting asses in the seats. He's not making people turn it on. You know what I mean? Like, even if his swing's a little different with his footwork and stuff, which I think is cool, it's not the robotic swing that everybody has. But
no, you're right, because it's funny. He had such an amazing story 2 weeks before that I thought was incredible. Just the rise to world number one in his hometown, like in a place that he like has pictures of like him there 4 years ago buying a ticket to, and now he's world. Like, that was an incredible story. He's crying like it was awesome, and the next day there's like a private flight tracker from Tiger out of West Palm Beach, and it's like everyone forgot Scotty at that point. Like, that story's over.
I know. And that's another thing. But listen, we all knew it was coming, right? We all knew it was coming. As soon as Tiger came over, it was going to be complete coverage. I was so happy on Saturday. Listen, when he shot so bad, I was like, he's going to get out about 10. He'll be done right around when the coverage is. So maybe we'll get some actual different golfers on the TV.
That was the big plus. My big takeaway is this, dude. Like, next year, I wrote this in my notes. I overthought things way too much. And I did it because I had so many, I think it was part of having that show and so many guests. I was trying to prepare my ass off, and it was so obvious right there in front of us. So I looked at the OWGR top 10. OWGR top 10 from last week. Here's the guys not in great form from the top 10, who haven't been playing great, still in the top 10. Rahm, Cantlay, Xander, DJ. And I wrote these two down, even though they aren't quite in the top 10, but notable names people expected to play well. Brooks and Spieth. None of them have been playing good. And guess what? They didn't play very good. Between those 6 guys, 0 wins in the 2021-2022 season, basically from September on. And here's how they finished. DJ 12th, not bad. Rahm 27th, Cantlay 39th, and then 3 missed cuts. Okay. Here's the guys inside that same top 10 who have been playing well. Scotty, 3 wins in a second since September. Colin, a win, the European Tour Championship, and 2 seconds. Victor, 3 wins in a second. Cam, 2 wins. Rory, a win and a second place. In this season, those 5 guys, they have 15 first or second place finishes since September between the 5 of them. Finished first, second, third, 5th, and 27th.
It's one of those things where you're like,
there's superstars who weren't playing well, and there's superstars who were playing really well. And we should have just taken the guys who were playing well.
We should have too. And it's funny, like, and so, like, you know, what happens to me a lot is my brain will confuse betting and DFS as much as I try to separate it, because we put out shows every week, it bleeds into each other, right? So all of a sudden it's like, well, I can't bet him. He's chalk. Chalk has nothing to fucking do with an outright, right? It might have to be like too short of a number, but and I just ate the wrong chalk. I ate DJ and Brooks. Not DJ and Brooks, JT and Brooks. Like, I was all over JT, all over Brooks. I didn't care. I got different down low, and even down low in DFS, like I talked about HV3 and Scam Champ on the pod, and I played Peters, like 80% Peters, 80%. What the fuck was I doing? Like, you're right. It's just the week is just so content filled for us. Like, I feel like I just get so overloaded. Like, and then I go overboard, which is my MO anyway, right? But it's like next year is the same thing. It's like, listen, keep it simple, stupid, right?
Keep it simple. Like, stop trying to call. Like, for me, like, stop trying to call something at 20-1. And just take the obvious thing at 18. Like, forget the 4 points. Take the 16-1 on the obvious one. And stop trying to like call and be like smart and right about someone at 20-1. Like, just don't be a fucking idiot and take the guy who's freaking on fire right now and also really, really good.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, whatever. It was what it was. It was one of the more boring Masters, but it's still the Masters, and whatever. It's a good story. And I don't know. Next year, maybe the conditions will be a little softer. I was fine with how tough it played. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. I told my wife at the beginning of the day, she's like, "Are you looking forward to Sunday today?" And I'm like, I hope we just get to the 12th hole and this thing's not over, because that's like such an exciting stretch down the finish. And the last one, the DJ one and the Hideki one, were kind of over. And the Tiger year was so exciting because there's all these guys and it comes 12, 13, 14, 15. It's like you can birdie all of them or you can blow them all up. And we kind of got that, because so I kind of got what I asked for, sort of, but it like ended right there.
Yeah, it really was over on was it the third when Scotty chipped in and the momentum completely shifted? What'd you think about the relief?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Like, it's within the rules. I'm not going to fault him for it. Every single player in the field would have asked for that relief.
Absolutely.
And taken it happily. So it is kind of what I was like more confused, because I didn't have the volume on the day before. We had some friends over, and I was confused how he got relief on 18 out into where he got a shot.
Me too. So I was the same thing. I was actually at my buddy Tommy's house, and can you hear the dogs? Sorry.
It's all good.
And I was at, and we had the TV down because the wives were talking, and I was like, what is happening? Like, how is he pulling?
Why is he out there?
Yeah. How's that happening?
I guess 2 club lengths, but I'm thinking he's going to take the unplayable and he's going to be stuck right there. All right, is what it is. Let's talk a little RBC Heritage. Great field, awesome tournament, fun tournament that always seems to provide really good finishes. I'm going to bring in the odds board here on our screen and kind of put us up there with it from oddschecker.com. We're going to go through this odds board courtesy of my buddies over at Fantasy Golf Pod. Chad, Eric, Cecil's now with them. Josh Bennett, all good dudes. They run the show, Tuesday Night Golf Guys. Check them out. They are still a supporter of this show, even though the Chad nearly ended. I don't know if you saw that on part B. So this is the story behind it. He's still.
I listened to it. I didn't see it.
He's still an admin on like this part end, because we sort of share it. And instead of just leaving it, he hit end broadcast and it shut me down. But he's my dude. He felt terrible about it. So we still fuck with him. All right, let me zoom in a little bit here so you can see the names a little better. Okay, I'm going to rattle off some guys at the top here, Capper.
Yep.
Morikawa, best number, 14-1. JT, 14-1. Cameron Smith, back at it again this week, 16-1. DJ, 20. Patrick Cantlay, 20. Let's start with those 5 guys first. You betting any of them? Any interest? Anyone you really don't like in there? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I don't like. I mean, you get it, man. I mean, we hate betting these type of short numbers, especially on a course like this. Morikawa, I mean, look, maybe he can ride some of the momentum from Sunday into that. I mean, he played well last year when he was going against Sink. I think he ended up, I don't know, top 10ing, but he was second. And look, he was trying to catch Sink, and he probably made some aggressive shots that he shouldn't have made. The only thing I remember about last year was Sink couldn't find fucking fairway and was putting with a 3-wood basically all day, and somehow still won the damn tournament. I think he hit like 4 fairways the entire tournament. JT. No, I'm out. I don't trust Cam Smith to bounce back from 12 yet. And look, I mean, what do you think? At least 2 of these guys withdraw, right? DJ's gonna go because he's tied to him.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could definitely see JT and Cam Smith pulling out.
Absolutely. So is Answer the one that withdrew already?
Yeah, he already withdrew. So he must have hurt his wrist, because I don't remember who was saying it, but there was somebody on Instagram. I'm too old for Instagram. And I guess he was like pouring like his tequila at like the party the night before and things like that. And all of a sudden he was forced to withdraw at Valero and then withdraw from I mean, that sucks. Like, what did he do?
I don't know.
This is a great course for him, man. Short knocker, like
it's perfect, dude. It's perfect for him, and he's been in contention here before. So I'm fortunate for him. I don't know. I'm like you. I don't have any of these guys. I thought about Cameron Smith because I'm just kind of leaning on what I said before, and I'm like, this guy's just freaking on a heater right now, and he made one bad shot on 12 and didn't really have a good second round. But other than that, I know going into Sunday, he was the best player on approach in the Masters. I think it was my buddy Drew Matthews tweeted that he had going into Sunday, had like 7 or 8 more looks inside of 10 feet for birdie than Scotty. So he was just on fire, and we know that the putter can get red hot. Should be a good place for him, but he's a little wild off the tee, so I don't love that. DJ's played well here, so this isn't a tournament where you typically see his player profile in terms of a bomber who's going to want to hit driver succeed here, but he has.
I mean, he
Morikawa,
put driver
JT.
away on Saturday, right?
Yeah, and Morikawa and JT are both similar to me. They're just I never really get there on either of these guys, dude, because they're such great iron players, but it's just hard for me to back guys at 12 to 14 to 1 that kind of are a little cringeworthy from time to time on the putting green.
A little.
Whenever I bet them, they're extremely like frustrating to me, and I just don't get them right. So I just tend to pass on them at these 12, 14 to 1 numbers.
Yeah, I think DJ's fine here, but it's with DJ. It's always like, what's the motivation, right? I know it sucks to try to play armchair with psychiatrist, but he's here because he's tied to RBC. He's not here because he actually gives a fuck, probably. And then Cantlay to me, I think his irons are just a mess right now.
Yeah. All right. Here's a weird one. I'm going to bring this down, and I'm going to bring up my best bet of the week. And to be honest with you, bro, I'm kind of embarrassed about this one. But
all right.
This is my guy.
Let's go. I love dirty ones.
This is not my brand whatsoever, but I'm taking him this week. I got to change things up. I'm in a little bit of a cold spell right now, so I'm just going to go with someone that I never bet. Holy shit, dude. I'm taking Matt Fitzpatrick.
All right.
He's just been so consistent. This is his favorite golf course on the PGA Tour. He's on the record stating 4th in strokes gained total at Harbor Town. Off the tee, he's picked up a lot of distance, and he's still hitting it very accurately. So last 12 rounds, basically his last 4 tournaments, 2nd in strokes gained off the tee. It's never been a strength of his whatsoever. In terms of good drives, which I spoke about earlier, that I'm looking specifically at Harbor Town Golf Links, he is first, and he's also first in bogey avoidance. So I trust him to sort of not make a huge number. The course history, 3 top 15s in the last 4 years, including a 4th last year where he made a little run. Maybe this is his time. I was thinking earlier, man, that like, okay, so we got, let me see if I can get this back up. Okay. So Scotty, right? It was like Scheffler's the best player in the world who doesn't have a win. And like, look at how fast this thing has like
snowballed,
streamed downhill for him since he got that win. So right now it's Will Zalatoris or Fitzpatrick. And I really think that if either one of them can like break through and like this, maybe not this week, but this type of event, they could snowball it into like a really good run because they're both playing really well. I think all the major championships set up great for them. I think the U.S. Open and St. Andrews sets up great for Fitz. I think Southern Hills sets up great for Zalatoris. So it just feels like they aren't that far off. And if they can just break through and get the monkey off the back, either of them could potentially, not a Scheffler world #1 type run, but they could both find themselves within like the top 8 in the world fairly quickly if they rattle off like 2 wins, because they've got so many top 10s and good performances in majors in that OWGR system.
So me and Steve always fight about Fitz. So Steve loves Fitz. I think he's fine. I'm fine with positionals on him, but for me, I just don't think he can score enough. You're right. He avoids the big number. I love him in tough conditions. I love him in the wind. He's somebody who I never worry about seeing a crooked number on, right? At worst, he's going to bogey. And he's a guy who's going to get up and down, and he can putt from 13 feet to save par. But I just don't think he scores enough. I know he scores well on the par 5s, but at a course like this, you got to score well on the par 4s too.
Yeah.
And I just don't. I'm just not that. I would rather take Lowry, who has a better course history here.
Yes, he does.
Who can chip in. He's at the same odds. He can get hot with the putter. Obviously disappointed off his weekend. So I just prefer Lowry over Fitz. Yeah. I mean, that's just kind of where
I get it. Lowry's a good one. I'm just kind of more or less here switching things up a little bit in my strategy. So I'm going to try Fitz this week. Maybe I'm just looking for something to break through. You know, Berger's this interesting one at 31 to 1, where I think everyone feels like that's a really great price on him.
Yep.
I didn't get there. What about you on Berger?
I was going to ask you about it because I didn't get there either. And I thought, I was like, man, I thought that number would have got steamed quick, right? And I haven't looked at like the ticket count or what their liability is yet on any of the books, but are they just they got to be taking money on it, and they haven't moved it yet.
Yeah, they're going to take money off it. He's another one like Fitz that seems to avoid the big numbers unless he like something weird happens. But he's just a really great driver. He's really good on short courses. You look at Pebble, you look at PGA National, which is short also, like courses that he plays a lot. which just demand you. They aren't overly long, but they demand you to be really accurate. And he's just good there, man.
He's a good, solid golfer, and I don't know.
Yes,
I think the thing at TPC and then the thing he did at Hatton with match play, I don't know. He just kind of turned me off a little bit, and then like
yeah,
now I kind of root against him.
I know. Yeah, the
And I'll
thing
hold
with
the
it.
bias. Like it could be the best play on the board, but if I'm like, nah, fuck you, I don't like you, I'm not going to bet you. That's how it works. So
I know. All right, my next guy, moving down the list a little bit. I took Sung Jae. I got a 35-1 on Sung Jae.
well, that's a good number.
I think this is a perfect type setup for him where he can take like 3-iron off the tee and just get himself to a good distance of 175 yards. I thought the iron play was super sharp last week. I love his around the green game. Back on Bermuda grass greens, I just think this is one of those setups that really suits his style of play. I know that there was a stretch there. Certainly where he was off, and the approach numbers are bad right now. I have him 103rd over the last 12 rounds. Now that's not factoring any strokes gain approach numbers, obviously from the Masters, but he was able to score well at the API without hitting his irons well. Finished top 20 there. Finished 6th at the Farmers without hitting his irons well. Lost strokes on approach there. If he can flip that, which I think I saw a sign of last week after a little bit of time off. So he basically took a month off before he played in the
Which
Masters.
he never does.
Unfreaking heard of. So I'm
Exactly.
hoping that he went back to the lab. He's got the irons sort of figured out. He's been putting pretty well. I think we're getting a fair price on him this week at 35-1. So I took that. But there's Webb. There's always this theory you just play Webb at Webb courses. Joaquin Niemann, I had him last week. He was right in it for a while. He's playing really good golf. So there's good options here in the mid-30s, which I was kind of hoping for last week. Some guys in the 30s, and we didn't get it. Now we got some names down here around 35-1.
We do. Webb, like I get it. Play Webb on Webb courses. Like, I just don't know, man. Like there's something still off with him to me. I love the Sanjay number. I haven't got there with him yet, but my car's not over. And I don't know. I don't want to hold what he did on Sunday against them because he was trying to make a play, trying to make a push because he did play well up until that point. Neiman didn't have a good Sunday either, and it's weird because
Saturday really, yeah.
And I took him heavy on a fucking matchup on Sunday too because I was like, oh, these are going to be good conditions, scoring opportunities, and he didn't do shit. And it killed me. it really hurt me. So, yeah, I mean, look, really, you can make an argument for almost any of these guys. I didn't hit this. I went a little deeper on the board. I skipped the 30s for now. But I've only laid 4 outright so far because it's Monday, and like I told you, I'm riding solo with 4 kids for the week, so it's been a little hectic at the Clifford household.
Yeah, no, totally, and I'm the same way. I don't try not to lay it all out on Monday. I try to take everything in a little bit, see how the week and the ebbs and flows. But again, I'm going to go through the names here from like 40 to 60-1, and then just tell me if anyone sticks out to you that you like. But again, like good names here. Spieth,
great names,
40-1. Henley, 40-1. Hatton, 40-1. Those are good numbers. Horschel, 40-1. Alex Noren is 50. Kevin Kisner now this morning was up there, now down to 50. Mav McNeely, 50. Kevin Na, 55. Siwoo, 55. Tommy Fleetwood, 55-1. I'll stop right there. Anyone you fancy in that range?
That's a great range. I love this range. So I got Kisner, and because listen, you live in Florida, and we have very fucking limited options. So it is what it is. I think I got him at a 60.
Me too.
Yep. Yeah. So whatever. I took it. I mean, he never pops the model. This is a Kisner track, even though surprisingly he doesn't really have good course history here for whatever reason.
But the other places, match play, Sedgefield, like I feel like this was a place that should suit him well, and he's playing good. He's playing
great. Yeah, he's playing great. He had a bad Sunday on the Masters, but whatever. That's not a course he could think he can actually win. I'm staying away from Hatton. He's my boy. I love him. I wrote him up last week. I talked to him until I was blue in the fucking face. And listen, I'm gonna need to get a list of courses that Hatton thinks. Of courses that don't fit his eye, because I feel like every time I bet him, I'll hear an interview after he has a shit round. And he's like, "Wow, the course really doesn't fit my eye." I'm gonna need a list of these things so I can stop betting him on these fucking courses.
So since he's your guy, I saw the clip come out where he basically turns his putter into a shotgun and fired up.
What was that?
Who was that aimed at?
That I don't know. Like I was
That I
hoping.
needed to pan out because, like,
I know.
if his caddy's like down scope
Yeah.
or like a playing partner and he's like taking them out, like, can
Yeah.
you imagine that going around the green, taking out caddy and like Adam
You'll kill you.
Scott and like getting another guy in there? Like,
Yeah.
I was like,
I
whoa.
I read a quote and because I guess his caddy there's something wrong with his knee, right? So he's gonna have a different caddy this week. He's going back home to I don't know, get it looked at so he can get on it. But he was like, yeah, he's like, due to my play here, maybe next year I could just come back and caddy versus play. I was like, are we that low, Terrell Hatton? I don't want a golfer that is that low on himself moving into the weekend.
All
I
of a
can never
sudden he
get.
sucked at majors.
Yeah, I mean, he
I like him too.
spurts. Yeah, Billy Ho, I can never get there with him. I feel like I don't know. He made an ass out of himself on Sunday too. Like whatever.
Yep.
And
Yeah, he
listen,
did.
I can yell and do stuff like that. I used to do that when I played golf, and I used to think I could be good at it. I realized now that I suck at it, and I just crack open another beer and just move on to the next hole and whatever. I would have liked to answer. Are you a Noren guy?
Not really. No. You know, I'm really not a fan of, and I don't have a reason why, but I will never bet him, even though he sets up nights this week. Mav McNeely. I can't get him. I'll never.
I can't
be
get
there.
him either. Dude, I'm with you. Like I can't figure him out. I know he pops on models or whatever, but like, no, I'm good. Like I know he played good at the match play too, for the most part, right? He didn't make it out of his group, but he played out. Or did he make it out? I can't even remember. I don't remember if
he's
he
been
made
playing great, and like everyone wanted to bet him at Pebble, which is similar to this, and he was down to like something crazy, like 25-1, and he barely made the cut. So I don't know. I just feel like he's more likely to let you down.
Yeah, absolutely. So especially with it's all these guys, right? I mean, we know it. Yet somehow we'll still get tricked by it sometimes. When the community group think gets together and all of a sudden this golfer who doesn't fucking win is everybody's pick and he's super chalky in DFS. What does it work out like maybe 2 out of 10 times?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like you just gotta avoid it and figure it out. Like I'm not burning my money on McNeely. I'll burn him on another loser.
Yeah.
What do you think about Harman?
Harman, I'm off of. My next bet that I actually, so I wanted to bet Kuchar, but I can't at that number because I was on him at Valero and he made a nice run for me and he like top 10, and I felt like it was a great place for him where he could use his around the green game. I feel the exact same way this week, although he's half the price he was at Valero. So instead I took Adam Hadwin. Just recent form for me.
Yeah.
Approach numbers have been great. Played awesome at the Valspar. Decent course history on these type of layouts specifically. And I just felt, I don't know why, I felt like the number was going to go down. I did get a 66. You could still get a 65. But I felt like he was going to be like Kisner and drop 15, 20 points. Yeah. It didn't happen. May catch a little bit more steam later in the week, but that's my only other guy under 100-1 and above. Do you have anyone else sort of in this 60 to 100 range?
So I like Harman, man. Like,
okay,
I like it. Just seems like a Harman course to me. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. He's in decent form. He missed a cut at the Masters. No one expected him to do anything at the Masters. I know he's a lefty. That doesn't mean shit. He top 5 at the Valspar. Still made the cut at the Players. And basically he goes from good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. And he was good at the MX, bad at Pebble. Good at the Phoenix Open, bad at the Honda. Other than he was bad at the Players, but then he was good at the Valspar, but I don't know. Was he on the bad wave at the Players? I just assume he is.
I'm not sure, but yeah, I mean, dude, he's been awesome. No, yeah. I have him 4th in good drives gained, 15th in strokes gained total at this course. So, decent course history to back it up. I think him and Hadwin are kind of like very interchangeable to me. Yeah,
and I saw Hadwin all over the place today, like early in the morning.
Gonna hit it in the fairway. They're streaky, very streaky putters. They're considered good putters, but really they're streaky putters. So like not great, but if they get hot, like they can fire like a 62 or something crazy like one round. So yeah, I like both of them. Any bombs for you? I'll kind of flick through the range. I got a couple. I got one that I'll bring up, and I'm going to save 2 for lunchtime long shots tomorrow, which will be back. But
so if you like, for you? So if you like Hadwin, what do you think about Svensson at fucking 250-1?
I know, and he's my boy, dude.
So that's one of my long shots. Everybody was talking about Hadwin, so I immediately went to Svensson. I was like, all right, where's Svensson at? And I get him at 250-1 on my book. And look, he's a good player, man. And whatever, man. Like 250-1, we're a place where bombs can go off, a place where Wes Bryan has won a fucking golf tournament. Yeah. Like, why not? Why not Adam Svensson? Why not?
Kadira. I mean, he's just – he's so solid with
Mhm.
his irons. Like I had a bet on him at the Honda and I was there and I followed him for a while. Just because I like following guys where like the whole crowd's not there. So
Yeah,
it was
hell
like
yeah.
just him and he struck the shit out of the ball. Like he's
Yeah.
flushing it. He hit his irons fantastic and he just missed a lot of 4-foot putts. But he's good enough. Proven winner.
Yep.
Veteran caddy on the bag, has won at every single level of his career from college to amateur to still amateur events to Corn Ferry Tour events. Yeah, he's close, and a win is coming.
Yeah.
And I pray that when it comes, it's at like one of these 250 to
Fuck
1
yeah,
numbers,
dude.
and not when he like leads in with a couple of good weeks and is down to like 65
16.
to 1.
Yeah.
Like this is the number to catch him at.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think about Sneds, dude? He looked okay. He looked okay at Valero. This is
He did
this is
look.
a
He
great
looked very
Snedeker
okay.
course. This is a great Snedeker course. 150 or 125, depending on what you get him at your book. Like,
Yep.
this,
My other guy, the other guy that I will mention here that I'll kind of let the cat out of the bag, my boy Matt Neesmith.
okay.
Uh, we're
All
boys
right.
now.
Yeah.
We're boys now for
Yeah,
the
you-
final thoughts thing a couple of
absolutely.
weeks ago. But yeah, played awesome at Valspar. Like he's just in really good form. Love his attitude. Love his mental game. I want to say, and I should have looked this up, but he's got like maybe he got like married at Harbor Town, or there's some sort of connection there with him
Ooh. All
where
right.
he's played really well, and this is one of his like one of the more special stops on tour for him, I believe. Don't hold me to that. I'll have to relook that up before I release it on lunchtime long shots tomorrow. But yeah, I like him. I was going to be there. He was 175 to 1.
Yeah. And
I'm
he's
not sure exactly what it is right now. I mean,
his,
there's all
his number hasn't moved. And
like,
he's
this is a great tournament to just
Yeah.
freaking take some of these guys. Here he is.
yeah.
He's 150 right now. But I mean, there's good players that can
Dude's
win. Mac
151.
Hughes has won.
Yeah.
I don't know if he won the Heritage or he won. I think he won this event.
Was it here? I thought it was Sedgefield or something.
Maybe it was Sedgefield. Okay. But anyways, good player. Bo Hostler, pretty good player right now in pretty good form. Davis
form.
Riley, been playing awesome. I'm not going to say Ricky Fowler.
No.
But Alex Smalley, Brandon Grace is one here. Kramer Hickok, like this is a range where like you can take $10 or maybe take $50 and just take 5 guys and put $10 on them and hope for a Sunday sweat.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I mean, listen, that's the best you can hope for with this shit. Like, listen, we bet favorites. We bet 40 to 1 guys. If you can get a sweat with somebody with this long a number, like, it's a beautiful thing. Like, even if it doesn't work out, and never hedge, by the way. You hold on to that goddamn ticket. Like, all those spawn backers, like, can you imagine if they hedged? Oh,
No.
they'd kill themselves. Like, forget about it.
You have to hold on to the ticket. The only time I would say that it ever makes sense potentially was match play. Like
Match play, absolutely. Because
when there's a result where it's
outcome.
either A or B.
Correct.
But taking guys like who have 3-stroke leads on Sunday and trying to hedge out of it is just it's going to end horribly.
It is.
And you lose it. Like you only get so many of these events a year when you have an advantage, and you just have to ride it. Like last year, I think it was Rocket Mortgage where I had Cam Davis at a huge number. And he got into the playoff, and everyone's like, you have to hedge. Like, you're guaranteed like 40 to 1 if you hedge now. And I'm like, yeah, but if he wins, it's 125 to 1. Like, I'll take the coin flip.
Exactly. Fuck yeah. I'll definitely take the coin flip.
Yeah.
All day, every day.
Yeah. Higgs, Schwartzel, 250
what
to 1.
About Higgs? What about Higgs?
Yeah. What about him? I like it. Schwartzel played awesome last week.
I don't think Schwartzel. I think Schwartzel's a horse for the course there. What about Poston though? He's got a great course history. Yeah, he's too wild off the fucking.
Dude, Hudson Swafford finished like 30th last week, maybe 27th at the Masters. Yeah. He's a Sea Island guy. Like, this is a fun week.
Sea Island Mafia. I forgot about that.
Yeah, Sea Island Mafia boys. This is a fun week, dude. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too.
Man, I know you got to go. You got the other podcast. Plug all your stuff this week and tell the people where they can find you.
Now you guys find me. It's super easy. Boston_Capper on Twitter. Golf Gambling Podcast. I don't know, wherever you find your podcast, right? Apple, Spotify, all that good stuff. I'm writing best bets articles now for sportsgamblingpodcast.com. My co-host Steve does his course breakdowns and all that, like in-depth stuff, like we were talking about. Him and Andy, the Galaxy brain me, and then I'm like, oh, I never thought about that. And then I go down some weird rabbit hole about grass types for about 4 hours when I should be working. So yeah, man. Other than that, that's it, man. Appreciate you having me on, brother.
For sure, dude. You and Steve got a great vibe going. I wish he was on Twitter, but he's not. Maybe that's a good thing. He kind of keeps us all grounded and just puts out his stuff on the podcast. But Golf Gambling Podcast, check out my man Boston Capper at Boston_Capper. Thanks for coming on, buddy. I know you got to roll.
Cheers,
have a good night, dude.
Cheers, bro.
Later.
Later.
All right. Fun dude. Good times. Talking a little bit of Masters, talking a little bit of odds board. Check his show out later. They have guests on. Like, it is a very, very entertaining show. They argue with each other. It's fun stuff. Okay. Q&A. Don't got much tonight, so we're just going to skip right by it. I want to get to before I do final thoughts here, talk about prize picks for a minute. They had some awesome stuff going on last week for the Masters in terms of Tiger props, in terms of basically over under on scoring on holes, ways to take advantage. It's basically a way to parlay and take over unders. Do anywhere from like 2 to 5 guys, get 10 times your money. Promo code PL100. If you have not tried Prize Picks out, download the app on your phone. Super clean, super easy to use. You deposit $100. You use that promo code. That helps me out. PL100. You will get an extra 100 in your account. $200 free money. Greatly helps me. Appreciate it. PL100 Prize Picks. Download the app in the App Store. Okay. Let me pull up the banner here for final thoughts. I'm going to keep it pretty light, pretty quick this week. Where do I got it? There we go. Bingo. Okay. Final thoughts segment. Pretty light, but I thought a lot about this with Scotty at the end of yesterday's round and some things that he had to say. The greatest moments in my life, and I think your life, are often predicated by this feeling of knots in your stomach, anxiety, nerves, uneasiness, unsureness. Think about those moments in your life when something was so important to you that you got physically ill before it with nerves. A lot of the greatest moments of your life, I can guarantee it. I had that feeling last week before the major report. I was nervous. I was sick to my stomach. And I think it's one of the things I'm more proud of that I've done. That was pretty hard. That was producing. That was 17 guests. That was 4 hours of live content with things that didn't always go right behind the scenes that I tried to navigate through as seamlessly as possible. And I had a great partner in Andy, and we were able to hopefully make the show successful. Like I mentioned, the most downloads and listens. And I know it's not all about that, but that I ever had. So I appreciate that. When I did the DFS Open, I was super nervous about that. I was uneasy. I was sick to my stomach the day before it happened. What if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong? That was an awesome experience. When I proposed to my wife, when I got married to my wife, when we went to the hospital to have our children, like physically sick before all these great moments. But it's just about having the courage to try something. And with that great risk of complete failure, if that thing failed last week, you can best believe I would have been ridiculed for it. I put the thing out semi-jokingly about the Golf Channel guys live from the Masters in my thing, and I was like, this is my goal. I was kind of serious about that. That is my goal. That's what I want to do. And I had some people send me shitty messages about it, but it is what it is. I had the courage to try, and I'm going to keep trying. And I thought about Scotty and saying that he had that talk with his wife, and he felt like he wasn't ready for it. He was overwhelmed by the moment. He was sick. He was crying. He was a mess before this whole thing. But it led to probably one of the greatest moments in his life. And ultimately, he was prepared. Ultimately, he kept his faith in whatever he believes in, and he kept his faith in himself. And she helped him get the courage to just try. If you have something out there that you want to try, like, look, I'll be completely open and honest here. I had something on the table basically um, to start a different path with another company in this sort of industry, and it didn't work out, and that's okay. And I am happy that I'm able to just now be in this position where I'm a totally freelancer and I can try different things. And if they fail, they fail. If there's never another major report again, then there's never another major report again. But I'm going to try. Like, I'm going to take those downloads. I'm going to take this concept that I think, in my mind, at least, I prove that there is some value to it. And I'm going to pitch it to people. And I'm going to say, look, Golf Digest, whoever it is. This is what I did with basically $0, with zero production ability, with zero help other than a co-host. And look what I was able to do. If you want to be a part of this, I think it can be something really special. And I believe in it. If you have something like that in your life, you don't have to give up everything. You don't have to give up your job and give up your family duties. And I'm not saying to do any of that stuff and to just quit and start over, but have the courage to spend a lot of time and effort on something that you believe in and try. TRY. Those are the final thoughts for tonight. Scotty Scheffler tried. He's number one in the world. He's not going anywhere for quite a while. I think it's going to be, if he has a couple more good performances, hard for anyone to catch him racking up all these wins. He's arrived, extremely wholesome, extremely proud of him. I appreciate his honesty in the press conference. I appreciate his belief in himself and in his family. And I appreciate his ability to go out there and absolutely believe in something and try his best. Those are the final thoughts. I hope you all have a great week. Best of luck at the RBC Heritage. Hope you hit a winner. God knows I need one. Good luck this week. Thank you for checking out Preferred Lines. Before you leave here, make sure to give it a like and give it a subscribe. I will, so no one's been commenting on the iTunes in a while. Go in there, leave a comment on the iTunes. Tell me how much you like the show, and I will, I'll do something special for you. I may potentially DM you. So leave your Twitter handle in there as well. Love you guys. I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace. Thanks, Fran.